So this next section, I was hesitant on doing, so Jonny took the reins. And the reason being is because these people, I just want to say right off the bat before Jonny gets started, these people are constantly going to do something to us. The TYT contingent, because Tim Black is part of it. And I remember watching Tim Black. He blocked me years ago for Niko.
We never even interacted with him. Never spoke to him.
He blocked me all of a sudden. But, yeah, but they're always going to come and attack people telling the truth right now. A lot of people like Jimmy Dore and everybody else, everybody else that's in this whole sphere. The reason being it's because a lot of the TYT crew is losing their audience because they're not really telling the truth. They're not talking about things honestly. They're trying to really placate for politicians, narrative manage for politicians. Again, never take the side of politicians over the people. Yeah. The people are always like on, especially now where it's so obvious, right? And so that's the main thing I want to point out. And also, we'll get into it, but this is all about Nina Turner, blaming somebody for Nina Turner's loss. Nina Turner is to blame for her loss too. However, the system itself is the biggest thing to blame. And the fact is, neither Turner nor the majority of these progressives are talking about the fact that we can't even assess what happened without looking into our elections, and we don't look into our elections because we don't have audits, we don't have anything. So again, when people start blaming this and that and making all this analysis of pro-Israel and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, that has some weight, but that's not the whole thing, and we can't even see the whole picture. We can't even tell you that it's yes or no when we can't look into our elections, and that needs to get through all of you guys' heads. The people that still don't talk about elections.
Yeah. And, I think this conversation is important for certain reasons, because we have to have a conversation about where we are as far as leftists in supporting Democrats or not supporting Democrats, or supporting progressives and not supporting progressives. I don't think, obviously that rant that he went on, there was nothing substantial there. It was all just about yelling at people without any particular reason. I think there are valid reasons for people who are saying, listen, forget about our elections for a second. I just don't want to support the Democratic Party anymore.
Right.
And if somebody runs as a Democrat, can you really hold them against that?
No.
Against the person who says, I don't want to vote for anybody who's going to capitulate to this party, that they don't believe that Nina can get anything done? I mean, regardless of the fact if you thought Nina was a sellout or she was lying or you didn't like some of the choices she made, I certainly hated the choice that she made to go out and flaunt the endorsement from Ted Lieu, the biggest Russiagator in the world.
Or Bakari Sellers.
Or Bakari Sellers. This tells me
Pro-Israel.
that when she goes to Congress, she's not going to have a serious foreign policy we can get behind.
Right.
And she hasn't said anything about censorship and what's going on. So, I mean, we have those issues over there. But, I mean, aside from, like I said, putting aside the whole corruption stuff, just the fact that you're running as a Democrat, that's going to turn some people off. And I think everybody has the right, if they want to say, listen, I'm not going to support this party anymore, regardless of the candidate who it is. So.
Right, or even donate to them, right?
Yeah.
And that happened. People stopped donating to Nina Turner once she started signaling establishment talking points. That totally happened. I, however, don't believe that is what led to her loss.
Yeah.
That's what I that happened. And you can be mad at those people. Like I didn't support her candidacy. I didn't donate a cent to her because I believe she's going to be the same as the squad. But I never got there and said, hey, don't donate to Nina Turner. Right. I said, I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. You can go right ahead. I didn't, tell people not to do it. I'm just done with the Democratic Party, period. Yeah. But that didn't really cause the loss, because at the end of the day, the reason that's happening is systemic.
Yeah.
Right. So 2 days ago, Tim Black went on a pretty destructive rant, blaming Jimmy Dore, Brianna Joy Gray, Savage Joy, MPP, and everyone else but the real culprits of why Nina lost. And we'll get into who the real culprits are. We kind of already alluded to it. He called them all losers, slime, sludge, vermin, turncoats, backstabbers, and a flurry of other names. He called Jimmy Dore racist. Mm-hmm. He called Steph Zamorano ditzy. And he was referring to Steph as Jimmy Dore's ditzy wife. Like, Steph is more than that, obviously. Said Breonna has a white girl inside her. Said
I know, right?
MPP was a racist organization, even though they literally endorsed Nina Turner. Here's a screenshot of that. Here's a receipt of that. And the rant was completely like destructive, man. It was completely destructive to the left.
Yeah. Very divisive.
Super divisive. By now you've probably seen the rant or parts of the rant. I really don't want to sit here and nitpick everything he said, because a lot of it was just flat out factually incorrect or smears. So we're just gonna play kind of like the main part where he really went off, and then pause in between, and then I want to address some things he said in the video pertaining to why Nina lost this race that I think we can find out what is actually the reason there. So let's watch some of this.
Chilling in your AC. Can you imagine being that fucking selfish? Did you think the way to start your movement is by shitting on somebody you supported just a year ago?
No one shitted on Nina. You know, I don't think you can find any clip of that. So that's like a lie.
No, there was
because
criticism. There was constructive criticism.
There was constructive criticism. No one shitted on her, right?
No, nobody shit on her.
Failed ass fucked up comedian and his dizzy wife, Jimmy Dore, and his dizzy wife said, I'm not giving Nina any of my hard-earned money. We naming names tonight.
Right, so actually, yeah, I do remember Steph saying that.
She was reading a super chat.
Yeah, it was like during super chats, and that's crazy that, you know.
She said, I'm not giving money to any Democrat candidates. Right. And neither are we.
And I'm right. We're right there with her.
We're right there with them.
You know, we're right there.
Yeah, I mean, we have every reason to be right there. How many times do you want to get hit on the head? Like Glenn Greenwald said the other day, it's like this S&M kind of relationship. The more the progressives get beat up by the establishment, the more they capitulate and agree and say, yes, it's kind of hard to even watch right now.
It's a battered wife because it's S&M is still enjoyable to some people. This is like it's like getting bit, battered, and watch. Hit. And like, and you just like Stockholm syndrome, like it's that bad. Like, how many times are you gonna do the same thing and expect different results? That's the definition of insanity. People are simply done, and he needs to recognize that. It makes me sad hearing him speak, actually, because I used to like him. I used to watch him. I used to be a huge fan, and you know, such a powerful, strong black voice. I think is just watching like him tear down the wrong people, going down the Ben Dixon route, because Ben Dixon has done this very similar things, you know, using the same type of jargon, and it's just like misplaced anger.
Yeah, and the way he went about it, really, I think he did himself in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some things that we understand, and that when he just calling people racist for not voting for Nina, excuse me. Well, that
Jimmy can't even vote. If Jimmy could vote, I'm sure he would have voted.
You know what? I'll tell you this right now. Once again, I'm against trying to put any momentum or effort or money behind anybody running in for the Democratic Party. But number one, I strongly believe she would have won if it was a fair election. There's no way you can convince me that a person who was up by 30 points against a Democrat who nobody knew about, you can replace her with any of the other Democrats that will do nothing right there. You know what I'm saying? They didn't garner up any love or energy and stuff that you're going to think that this person's going to win just because they're going to hate on the other person. I don't believe that Nina really
lost.
And
even if you're wrong, we could prove that easily, right? If we had a fair election system, and we don't.
Yeah.
Right. So then, like, I'm right there with Steph. You know, after 2020 elections, I said I was never going to donate to another Democrat again because, you know, they're not acknowledging election integrity. And then, Bernie and Tulsi were the last Democrats I donated to. Steph was going off of Nina's own words, though, that we would be disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this clip. I'm just going to play it real quick so you guys remember.
Especially progressives. And I know progressives are disappointed. I mean, we tried 2016, 2020. I get it. So for me as a leader, not just somebody elected, because there are things that I can do in committee, things I can do on the floor of the Congress, but there's also things that I can do in my community and also across this country. So I want to say don't be disappointed. You got to have some understanding. It's okay to be disappointed, but the squad is ultimately the best that we have in terms of being able to push an agenda. And what that means is that you might not always agree with the methods. I need people to understand that when you are on the inside it doesn't mean that you are selling out. I know they've gotten a lot of pressure, but they are the ones up there holding it down. They're pushing as hard as they can. And just because things are not going exactly the way, just because they're not using the exact tactics that some in the activist community want them to use, that doesn't mean that you throw them away. Because guess what? If you're throwing away members of the squad who are our best opportunity to get what we need, and also some members of that progressive caucus, then you're not going to have anybody there. So if the prerequisite, in summation, if the prerequisite for relationship means that I have to do, or the squad has to do everything you say, the way you say do it, then there's not much of a relationship at all. And that, you're going to be disappointed. Hell, they're going to be disappointed with me. I said that to Tim Black when we
there are over 100 members of the Progressive Caucus. 100 members. None of those people have actively pushed for Medicare for all. None of those people withheld their vote for speakership for Nancy Pelosi to try to force a vote. None of those people have followed through with a $15 minimum wage. They have 100 people in that caucus. They could form a block. They're not doing everything they can to get people the things they need. It's very basic. Like she's saying, you don't, again, the language she's using here is very much like the language I hear the California Democratic Party use. You don't get what it's like being on the inside. You have to do this and and there's different tactics. Well, no, the tactics they're using only get us incrementalism. The tactics they're using are sinking us further and further away. They're not like, they might be like, imperceptibly, symbolically, the best we have, but tangibly, action-wise, they're not any different than the Democrat, the moderate Democrats, the Blue Dog Democrats. They are in show, in words, in tweets, and how would it feel if you didn't have student debt? What does that fucking do for people's families? It doesn't do anything. And like, I get the whole, I'm a politician, you're an activist, I'm a politician, you're a journalist, you don't understand what's going on. But that's the problem, is that we have politicians not acting on the behest of the working class. That's the fucking problem. If we had a representative, a politician's supposed to be like a symbol of you and I. They're not supposed to do whatever they want strategically to try to get, no, they're supposed to do what we want. So yes, like her telling us that we were going to be disappointed, to me, was one of the things that did. I was like, okay, she's defending the squad. She's acting like they're our allies when they haven't done anything for us, even at that point. And so why would I invest my time and energy on somebody that's going to do the same thing that the squad who has shown useless to us is going to do?
Yeah, and can I also point out another point over here? Not only have the squad left down the progressives on their policies and stuff like that, they haven't gone to the common sense left policies that they used to stand by. Like when it talks about civil liberties, protection of our civil liberties. Well, the squad, including AOC and all that other people, have cheered on big tech and their censorship and taking people down. That's a big fucking no-no. And Nina has not been anywhere there to call out these tech giants and what they're doing. In fact, has turned a blind eye to it. Foreign policy. Defer to the caucus leadership, making sure that Israel gets their money and stuff like that for war and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? The squad and the left have been awful when it comes to foreign policy. Even when it came to the whole situation with Israel getting bombed, they were sticking to the whole Hamas is awful talking points, whatnot. So they're not there on civil liberties, the First Amendment. They're not there on foreign policy and stuff like that. When you have a progressive, one of the better progressives in Charles Booker, who's going to be running now against Rand Paul, but you're going to say, wait a second, I haven't seen Charles Booker stand up for civil liberties. I haven't seen him go after the tech companies. I haven't seen him talk out against war. They make these little insinuations and stuff like that. But when you have to stand behind Rand fucking Paul, because at least he's fighting for civil liberties and is saying, I don't want to believe in the CDC guidelines, when you now have leftist progressives standing behind not only big tech, but now they're standing behind big pharma and not even questioning stuff. The fact that the squad is not coming out there and going, okay, listen, the CDC has lied to us this whole time. They lied to us about where this virus came from. They lied to us about the other forms of alternative medicine. The fact that they're doing that, how can you stick behind them? The progressives as a whole have moved away from some of the most important leftist ideologies that used to be set in stone.
Because they're the new liberals. They're there to replace the old guard, not to replace it. They're there to replace it, but they're not there to destroy it. Yep. So, Johnny, go ahead.
So I think, Nina, I was watching some of her interviews and stuff, and I think she's a genuine good person. And, you know, we've seen her at rallies. You know, here's some footage of us at a rally in New Hampshire. I pulled up, and when she got there, we were covering the Bernie campaign, and, you know, she had the energy. She's a fighter. You know, I can see it, I can feel it. But we're going to hold the squad accountable, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially when they coordinate, you know, 3 present votes to give funding for more Capitol Police, especially when, you know, they fund the FBI and DOD with that bill also, especially when a squad member votes to give that $3 billion in funding to Israel, especially when the squad has an opportunity to leverage power and force the vote to bring Medicare for all to the table so we can see who the fuck would say no during a pandemic,
right?
Especially when none of the squad members hold press conferences on the bloated military budget they've been letting get passed since they've been in office, since they've been in Congress. There's been so many examples, and we wanted fighters. You know, we didn't want to we didn't want people that play the fucking game. Yeah. Not this, you know, cuddling up with fucking Nancy Pelosi and shit like this, where we're seeing this and getting on CNN now. And, you know,
she also Russiagated
and getting comfortable with war criminals like Adam Schiff here.
Yeah, I know.
And you see Cora Bush get
this is disgusting.
hug Adam Schiff like he's a good guy. He's a fucking war criminal.
He's a war criminal, and she's giving him photo op opportunities. This is all a giant photo op. Right here. Oh, look, he's hugging people. Oh, great. Adam Schiff shows up for 5 seconds, then goes back to his fucking mech mansion. Yeah. And doesn't give a shit about actually pushing policies that help the working class people, being evicted, people out in the streets. You want to fucking talk about, oh, thank you, Adam Schiff, for being here. No, fuck off.
Yeah. All these politicians. Yeah. And, you know, I'm like, well, how was the Tea Party able to do it, you know? Like, how were they able to make fucking
Boehner cry?
Look at them. They did it.
Yeah. Because they made his life hell. Obama and Boehner went golfing to try to come to a solution, and all right, we got a solution. They took it back to the Congress. They said, no, go scratch. You ain't getting it. We're here to make your life hell until we get what we want. And he resigned. He left fucking Congress. That's how badly, and that's what I wanted the squad to do. I wanted them to make Nancy Pelosi cry, Chuck Schumer cry, and resign. Instead, they call her Mama Bear, and they take photo ops with him and stuff like that. And not to mention Johnny, too, as well. When you're talking about all the military budgets and stuff like that, Nina, during Bernie's campaign, started talking about Putin, started Russiagating. And then she endorsed, she gloated and bragged about her endorsement from Ted Lieu, who was the biggest Russiagator in the face of the earth. So if you're like one of the biggest issues is like, keep us out of war with Russia, let's get that doomsday clock to go back a little bit before we have to suffer nuclear annihilation, and she's not there, that can be an immediate cancel. And for me, it was. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to deal with her because her foreign policy is not where it should be. She should have been calling out these people rather than capitulating to them. And now she's capitulating to the CDC mentality.
So, yeah, when Democrats don't force the vote and make the speaker cry, you know, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna criticize it, and we have the right to do that, to demand better and to demand that they do better. So let's get back to the video here with Tim Black. So, okay, so let's continue.
We're naming names tonight. Don't throw rocks and hide your hands, punk ass. You did it. It worked. She lost. Take your credit. Take your credit. Take your motherfucking credit. Own it. Like I told Tommy Lauren, own your shit. And are you cowards afraid to call him out? Own your shit too. You're cowardly. His viewers might not watch my videos. People might unsubscribe. Go fuck yourself. This is bigger than your YouTube channel. This is our movement. These are the black people that I met in Akron and Cleveland who are now stuck with Chantel Brown because your fucking leader, your corny leader, your weirdo, neoliberal, KKK, dog whisperer follower, Jim Roganites, Tucker Carlson, ass kissing, massage giving, lap dance giving, fucking losers. Told you to. Told.
Wow.
What's he even talking about?
I mean, he's just way the fuck off. It's sad to see that shit. It's sad to see that shit, dude.
Like, oh gosh, you know, so like right there, you know, he just totally called Jimmy racist. Along with Joe Rogan, and saying, you know, just because he was involved, or Sorry, my bad. My mic's off. So he totally called Jimmy racist there, along with Joe Rogan, and also alluded to being on Tucker Carlson as being racist, right? Like
that's the thing. How many fucking times have we seen Cornel West, Nomiki Konst, all these other people on Tucker Carlson's show? Oh, but they're there to oppose him. No, they're there. Like Nomiki Konst, have you seen her? She's there to pick fights with him. Nothing substantial is ever discussed because she doesn't understand how to like expose a right-wing audience to leftist ideals. Whereas when Jimmy Dore goes there, he advocates for Julian Assange. He advocates for press freedoms. He advocates for a bunch of other things.
And changed Tucker Carlson's mind on Julian Assange.
Tucker Carlson's mind. And this isn't even about like, oh, you're such a Jimmy Dore fan. This is about the fact that what he's lying. He's literally lying and trying to make the equivalence of being on Tucker Carlson or being on Joe Rogan as being this sort of racist. I would go on any right-wing network and advocate anti-imperialism, advocate press freedoms, advocate for literally leftist ideals, and I would do it in a way where I could have an understanding. This is why I went to that Better Discourse event, because what was I doing? I was arguing with a neoliberal. What's his name? Destiny. And then everybody else was on the right, and except Niko. And then, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, that's how you get ideas, expose people to ideas. And by the end of that discussion, a bunch of Republicans were like, wow, like, I didn't know that people on the left had, you know, some of these ideas. I thought that AOC was the left. No, she's not. And so that's why I do those things. That's why I put myself out there. And you can call me a red, brown, and all this bullshit that they're calling all of us right now, that Anna Kasparian is talking about, ooh, this red, brown alliance. Like, it's like, it doesn't exist. What the only alliance I want is an alliance with the working people. That's what Dore is talking about. That's what the Gray Zone's talking about. That's what a lot of the people that are in our network are talking about. Like, we need to be post-partisan in terms of a revolution, because you're not going to get a working class revolution by asking everybody, did you vote for Donald Trump? Yes? Okay, then you're out. Oh, did you vote for this? No, that's not how it fucking works. And that's the reality that we're in. We're not going to be able to argue ideology at all when we're having, like, the fascist takeover is happening. Vaccine mandates are everywhere. There's all these things happening right now, and people are so, like, we're so stuck fighting each other right now. Like, we shouldn't be having this fucking discussion about Tim Black. We should be arguing about, hey, why don't we talk about the state agencies and what they're doing, and the surveillance tech that the Israeli surveillance spyware that's on your phone and on your computer and everywhere else. We should be talking about that. But we can't fucking talk about that because these fucking people keep distracting us by fucking just shooting baseless attacks based on nothing more than anger. He's just angry that people like his little contingent are losing followers, and that everybody is pissed off. We should be pissed off. We should be pissed off.
Yeah, divisive, just rhetoric. And, you know, I just going back to what you were talking about going on these other networks. I remember when we went to the Stop the Steal situation, we were there. How many people were we educating? And to this day, I have a Republican who's election integrity activist that she says, I tell everybody all the time, don't use voter fraud, use election fraud, because we can convince these people, we can get the language in the right way. And every single time we talked, we were talking about Michael Lindell's video, and we were laughing about it and saying, yeah, he needs to get his head out of the clouds and stop doing this shit. It's not meant for him. Blaming China is stupid. We need to keep our heads on the actual framework. And these are Republicans that we've talked about whatnot. And these Republicans even told me, hey, Pasta, this isn't a bipartisan issue. This is a nonpartisan issue.
Yes.
And I always repeat that rhetoric so we can move people. We can learn from people. It's important to have these conversations. According to Tim Black, it's like you never do that stuff. You don't talk to the other side. They think they're going to conventionally win this argument by getting the other person to change their mind. It's never going to happen.
And he says
it's only going to be won through compromisation.
Yeah, compromising. And you're right. And he says it's racist. And it's like that people are being racist towards Nina. Are you kidding me? She's one of the most, like, I think she's the last one. She's the last for a lot of us, right? She was the last person that we were like, okay, we really like her. Please don't. Yeah. And then all the things that she said and all the things she was, whistling at happened. That's why. It has nothing to do with her race. Nobody would have loved, everybody like that I know that was kind of like iffy on the squad still liked her and still supported her and would have loved nothing more than to have her be, something different. But when she basically said, I'm going to be like the squad.
Yeah. And there's another woman of color who beat her. So that's kind of hard to say it's being
and propped up by the establishment. Again, the establishment wins when you have people like Tim Black join them and attack the left that is demanding more. We're simply demanding more from politicians.
You know what's crazy is that earlier in the clip, he does kind of go after the establishment, but it's no way on the level of like how angry he is here on us leftists here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So two more small clips. He goes after Brianna here.
How dare you stand in the gap, say you care. I think you're a bunch of losers and racists and assholes. That's what I think. I think you believe that it's okay that people catch hell because you're not catching hell. You think your way out of catching hell is to dismantle a movement you didn't start. To come in and knock over dishes in the china shop. To stop Nina Turner from becoming a congressperson, as if that helps us. You have this stupid logic that if the people suffer enough, if enough people die, maybe they'll leave the Democrats. The problem is people gonna die while you're seeing this exercise.
Stupid.
It's the most asinine, illogical, inhumane thing to do, and it's being done by well-to-do and the ignorant. And tonight, what we need to do is draw a line in the sand and say, not today, go that way, get the fuck out, you're not wanted, we are done with you, it's over, kick rocks. And that goes for Brianna Joy Gray too, who went down to Ohio just to gloat through her new individuals, and she pretends to understand the pro-blacks while she does simulcasting for the Hill and looks down her nose at poor people. You don't have to retweet me. I don't want your retweet, sister. I want you out the way, and take your funny clown comedian with you. Go on the Joe Rogan show. You can't get a job doing nothing else except shitting on the true left, shitting on us, and then pretending to be our friends. I don't need your retweets. I don't need your fake hellos. I saw you in Ohio. My mom still lives here, so I'm just here because I was just in the neighborhood, being cool with the bros and the sisters and the hoes, you know how I do. Shut up and get the fuck back on the next thing smoking, back to D.C. and hang out with your corny friends and do your Bad Faith podcast in Bad Faith, a perfect name.
Who the hell does he think he's talking about? Like, who does he represent? If he thinks he's representing some form of the left, nobody's following your stupid ass. I mean, this is some of the dumbest shit.
Yeah,
who are you
really bad,
You're
man.
not speaking for people of color, too, as well. Our partner's a person of color, and he don't agree with you whatsoever. So don't even start with your shit here. I don't know where this guy is coming off to act like he's some leader of the left, of the true left, which he said. Like, who the hell do you think you're talking about? You've done nothing. You haven't talked about anything substantial in this whole goddamn video. All you did was break down, yell, and scream because you're mad. Because you know, like a big baby who doesn't know how to get his words out. Think for a second. Talk about the issue. Talk about why she lost, and then we can have a serious conversation about that.
There's nothing about why she lost. And
nothing.
This whole bit, like,
zero.
There's no analysis as to.
Well, he earlier he blamed the coalescing of the neoliberal Chantel and then the money again. But again, I'm gonna go over who's really to blame. Yeah. This is the last part, real quick.
Yeah, the last part gets really bad.
So
all right, here we go.
I don't know for a fact if Nina Turner would have won. If Jimmy Dore's of the world, if Steph Zamaro's of the world, and Brianna Joy wasn't a fake-ass friend, stop pretending that you down with black people. Cut the shit. Cut the fucking shit, okay? You ain't down with our issues. You're not down with our struggle. You look for every reason not to be down. Shout out to the Reset Race podcast. Fuck out of here. Who you fooling, Brianna Joy? I look in your eyes. Every time I look in your eyes, I see a white girl who don't know what the fuck is going on. Acting like you don't understand the plight of black people. Talking about it theoretical. This is real shit, girl. Fuck's you talking about? This is serious. This is life or death, girl. Hell is wrong with you? You're supposed to be a grown-ass woman. Understand this shit. Stop acting like you don't understand. Well, stop pretending to understand and just say you need education. Careerist?
Life or death. How's he
going to prove, Johnny? He later on talks about Vaseline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was earlier. Yeah. I mean, I didn't put it in here. It's just like...
so fucking stupid.
Yeah, man. No, dude.
This is so dumb.
completely insults.
So here's the thing:
Bree's intelligence there.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a grown 34-year-old Harvard-educated woman. Like you know, however you feel about Bree or where her politics lie, you know, she obviously supported Nina Turner this whole time. In fact, that was one of the many criticisms of Brianna from the left. Why are you still supporting the Democratic Party? Why are you still supporting, you know, in her podcast, she still kind of supports putting progressives in there, right? That's one of the criticisms that people on the left have of her, or the people that are like done with the Democratic Party, whatever, you know, like nonpartisan people. So to say that she didn't support Nina is a blatant lie, because she obviously did. She went over there. She was constantly talking about Nina Turner, propping her up, even after Nina Turner did all those like things that to me were just, that's it. I'm done with her, right? Like even after all that, she was still supporting her. You could go through Twitter and find that. So this anger is obviously misplaced, and for some reason he focuses on her, which to me is like extremely misogynistic, for one. I don't use that term lightly. Like I rarely ever use it. It seems like to me, and also jealousy, that there is a certain level of success on that side of the left. And you know what? And you don't have to like them. You don't have to like anybody or what they cover, but to attack them just because of that isn't the way to go. No. Attack them on where they're failing, right? And in this case, he's taking the side of the politicians and blaming the people who were critical, rightfully so, of politicians and demanding more, instead of blaming the system, which is what Johnny's going to go over, because really that's who you should be doing this rant. If I did a rant like that, it would be at the squad, at the AOC, at the establishment, at the people who duped us, at the people who fucking continue to do this and distract us from really attacking the predator class and the state agencies. That's where the rant would be. Yep. It's not at Jimmy Dore. Even if I felt like Jimmy Dore was this distraction, or if I felt like he was, I don't know, if I didn't like him, what does that do? Like he's representative of a lot of people who are angry, and rightfully so. He is like the representation of a lot of the working class people who are just fed up with the system. And there's room for that. There's also room for other types of discussions that are more intellectual. There's also room for everything in between. But you don't have to fucking trash that just in order to defend like the establishment, because the squad is the establishment now. It's very clear.
They capitulated to it and stuff. And just really quickly before handing it back over to Johnny, you talked about the jealousy there. There's a lot of jealousy in this. That's what a lot about this is. You'll see him say, like, get the hell out of here with your subscribers. Leave me some and then get out of here. That's right. Dude, you're talking about your own personal issue now. You just exposed yourself as just a jealous person and stuff. Yeah. And you know what? I'm biting my tongue over here too as well with the whole, like, you look like a white woman, Brianna Joy, because we know some shit over here, and I'm going to keep fucking quiet about it because my blood is boiling right now to say, who the fuck took care of you when your shit went down, when your basement got flooded and all your shit went down? Who was there taking care of you, Tim Black?
Right.
Don't even want to talk about it, man. Go ahead, Johnny, please.
So
I'm gonna lose my shit.
So to me, you know, like Tim, either, you know, he took the money or he's completely lost it. Like all this anger against people who want the same things as you and I. You know, we all want Medicare for all. We all want fucking to succeed. We want the people to be happy and good. You lied about them trying to destroy Nina's campaign. You know, that didn't happen. There was no Jimmy rant against Nina. Brianna was skeptical of Nina from what Nina was saying, and she has the right to be. No one made any anti-Nina videos, and no one was happy she lost. No. Show me any of the people Tim called out being happy that Nina lost.
At least not the people in the sector. I mean, there were people that were like angry.
The people that he called out.
Yeah, none of the people he called out.
We might have been a little bit more harsh than these people were that I've ever seen and stuff like that when I talked about Ted Lieu and we talked about the project. I haven't seen any of these people be half as, like, you know, harsh as we were, and we were just critical.
We're
you know what I'm saying?
Much the harshest.
Right. You know, it's wrong that he did this rant, and I feel like he needs to apologize to everybody. You know, his anger's, like Fee said, obviously misplaced. It should be at the system as a whole. The election system, the fact that Nina hired those establishment consultants, the fact that Nina didn't come with the fire that she came with before, the fact that she was placating to the establishment. So I just kind of want to go over that. So let's start with the election system. Early on in this live stream, he says it's a special election, which are notoriously low to begin with.
Yes. Yeah.
Elections are notoriously low. So let me just play this real quick here. It's just 1 minute. So.
When I say Nina Turner got robbed, that's what I mean. She got robbed by the establishment. They did what they do. They coalesced around a milquetoast politician who's gonna do nothing for the people. That's exactly what they do. And don't blame the people. Well, how can I say this? It's in a special election, which are notoriously low to begin with. The turnout in special elections, hold on, elections are notoriously low. So let's get this right. There was nothing else on the ballot to make people come out except this election. So we all know sometimes people vote because they're already in the booth, and they vote for something because maybe fill out some boxes. That's not the case in a special election. There's nothing else there.
So yeah, this part, he's wrong. He does actually blame the people there. He's saying people didn't feel the need to come out, and he really needs to blame the election system and the people who put it in place / uphold this election system in place.
Right.
Don't blame the people. It turns out it was a very low turnout race. We found the results, and here's some of the results. The results as of last night, because they're still counting, I guess, for 3 weeks. It doesn't make any sense. Congressional District 11 contains 2 counties, Cuyahoga and Summit. Cuyahoga is the larger county. It has 423,000 registered voters. Summit has 71,000 registered voters. You can see the ballots counted was 73,000. So the unofficial voter turnout was 17% in that county and 10% in Summit County, which is fucking crazy. It's so low. And then there's absentees and stuff. So I just want to really show really quick the Ohio District 11 here. We show the receipts here. So there's Cleveland. This is part of Summit here. Cuyahoga, and then Summit starts here. So it's part of Akron. Cleveland. Part of Akron here, and then Cleveland mostly is Cuyahoga. But it's it's gerrymandered as hell also. Yep. So there's that aspect of it too. Yeah, Summit County has Akron. So before I continue, let me say that why are special elections low? Why are elections low? It's because of the way the system is set up. There should have been a suspension of work for that day so people can go and vote. People should be required to weigh in on these elections, even if it's a vote for nobody. But this wouldn't work, Johnny. This wouldn't work. It's too complicated. I wish we had a real world example of a special election with nothing else but on the ballot but one race that got nearly 100% voter turnout. Oh, that's right. We do. We do have it. The Convo Couch went international and reported on the special presidential elections in Peru. You can see this here. We went down to Peru and we explained it to you that's what they did. And they were able to organize an election with millions of people from rural to urban communities, all in person, no mail-in ballots, and had nearly 100% voter turnout. If a third world country can fucking do it, the richest country in the world can do it too. And of course, this is where a lot of people are ignorant though. It's not just him, What's it going to take for people to acknowledge this reality? What's it going to take? Peru can do it. Peru can do it.
Yeah.
A third world country in people's eyes here.
We're a fourth world country. We're not even a first world country anymore because we have useless elections. We have poor people in one of the richest countries in the world, and we can't even compare our elections to a country that sometimes doesn't even have paved roads or electricity, where people live in rural areas in the mountains where they chew coca and they don't even have the technology we have, yet they can get their ass to a polling location and get their vote there, and they have paper ballots and you can retrace, and they'll have audits and they'll have this and that. We can't do that. That's the whole point. That's why, like, we cannot look into our elections. We don't know. Sure, gerrymandering, yeah. You can talk about the dark money, yeah. But at the end of the day, we can't look into our election, go to the Board of Supervisors and say, hey, can we look at this? Because we just want to make sure that everything went well, and we just want to verify that the ballots. And also, by the way, if Peru hadn't been undergoing that whole battle between the left and versus, Keiko Fujimori's neoliberal fascist type of government, if that hadn't happened, they would have had the count right away. They didn't start counting. They don't start counting until the last person makes the last ballot is there, and they finish right away. They finish the whole counting right away. Why does it take 3 weeks for people to fucking know an election result? Why aren't you guys pissed about that?
Yeah, with a tabulation machine that counts 100,000 ballots per hour.
How do you know what's counting this? A machine is counting. How do you know?
I have a question, guys. I have a trivia question for Fiorella, Johnny, and the audience at home. Name me the last progressive leftist to actually protest and ask for an audit of election. Name me the last one to do it. Go ahead. Do you know? Did Bernie Sanders object to his election?
No.
Did he protest his elections?
No.
Did Nina Turner do it?
No.
Did any leftist
Jen Perlman do it? No.
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 You know what I'm saying?
No.
Tim Canova could have done it. He got to a point where he should have done it. You know what I'm saying? The last person to do it is Cynthia McKinney over 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Nobody protests these elections. Nobody objects to them. Nobody calls for an audit. Nobody asks what's going on.
Well, I don't want to look like a sore loser.
But how can you look like a sore loser when you're protesting, especially in this situation, a special election, Democratic primary, when the Democratic Party said in a courtroom that they can go in the back room full of cigar smoke and pick whoever they want. They said they could cheat. Why wouldn't you protest that election? Right. I would play that clip. Like, look, they said they could cheat. Let's make sure they didn't cheat.
And if they're wrong, and if you say it and you're wrong, okay, cool. I was wrong. I thought there might have been something else. It shows. Then now I can make an analysis and say, okay, if it wasn't malfeasance and if it wasn't election fraud, then I should have done this as a candidate,
because then you know you lost.
Now you know.
Yes.
Now how is any other progressive going to say, well, next time we got to do this? You don't.
We got to vote harder, fam.
More centrist.
You don't know, right? Because she was placating to centrists. Maybe that's what it was, but we don't know.
We're gonna get to that.
We don't fucking know. Yeah. We don't know because we don't know who's counting these ballots. We don't know anything. We don't see this happening before us. It's a process that we should at least be secure in. That's why people don't vote, Johnny. 10%,
exactly.
17%. People don't have faith in the system. Countless times I've asked my non-political friends, why don't you vote? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's rigged.
Yeah.
Literally.
My vote doesn't count.
People who aren't political say that.
Yeah. And we have to start looking at the fact that mail-in ballots or absentee ballots at a high mass rate of, like, when you shotgun these out to everybody like they did here in California for the special election that's coming up. When everybody gets those ballots, you're going to have an excessive amount of ballots out there. You're going to see that in the general election. All right, they're saying that it was more of a liberal thing or more of a leftist thing to be mail-in ballots. Well, when we get these ballots back, when we get the cast vote records back from when they get the breakdown of Cleveland and stuff like that, and it says that Chantel Brown won more mail-in ballot votes, what's the theory there? It's just establishment Democrats vote through the mail-in, not more leftists. I mean, you have to start questioning these things and go, wait a second, something's going on. In other words, if you're going to get screwed, if Bernie Sanders got screwed with mail-in ballots during the 2020 primary in California, and now Nina Turner got screwed with mail-in ballots, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to start saying, wait a second, maybe we should question mail-in ballots and stuff like that. Maybe it's not fair after all.
The chain of custody, at least.
No chain of custody.
At the least.
At the least. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, so let's move on in the same clip. Last like 30 seconds. He blames the fact that it's an open primary. So watch this real quick.
This is also an open primary, meaning Republicans who were pissed at Nina for saying that Palestinians are people too, we shouldn't just kill them. They could switch and vote against Nina Turner, which they did. So it was like the perfect storm.
Okay, that's stupid.
Yeah, no,
that's dumb.
Thank you, Ryan Grimm.
Yeah, he's got the same position as Ryan Grimm.
No, he probably got it from Ryan Grimm.
That's so dumb.
He probably got it. This is why I hate people like Ryan Grimm, because they push shit without knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
He literally pushed shit, though.
This is why we discuss that. An open primary is better.
Yes,
especially for
it's more democratic.
Yeah.
Hello,
yes.
Are you a leftist or are you not? Like what the fuck? You're supposed to want more democracy from people. Like a closed primary is less democratic. That is actually voter suppression.
Exactly.
That is voter suppression. Do you see how they turn this all around? Yeah. Like when a voter ID is voter suppression, but like is voter suppression, but like a closed primary, no, we want that. Like what the hell is going on with you people?
Exactly.
Like an open primary is key. You cannot tell me that Republicans are going to be invested in voting against Nina Turner when they have their own candidate.
Right.
There's no evidence to show that. And if you want to show evidence of that, let's do an audit.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to the same fucking thing. You don't know what you're talking about. Neither does Ryan Grimm. When it comes to elections, these people have no idea. They're just throwing out theories, but they have nothing to back these theories up. We're simply saying, in order to have any sort of analysis about this, really, besides the dark money that you can trace and you can say, yes, maybe, of course, that's always a contributing factor. Aside from all that, you need to look into the election. You need to actually have a clear sample size of who voted for who and why and all of this and talk to people. And it would have been nice to have exit polls.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing with this open primary. In the 2016 primary in West Virginia was an open primary. A bunch of Republicans, knowing that, because Donald Trump already had locked up, they voted against Hillary Clinton because they voted against the establishment. Now you have Hillary Clinton going out there supporting Chantel Brown, Barack Obama, all these establishment candidates. You want us to believe, and this is something they're going to try to sell the public, that the progressives, the socialists, the radicals, they're more hated than the establishment, that Republicans actually signed up to vote against progressives instead of voting against the establishment. That's a bunch of hogwash. And when you don't audit elections and you don't peel into this to get the right answers, this is the rhetoric they're going to put out. They're actually putting it out there that progressives, who are way more populist minded, and that open primary usually favors that, are the ones to blame now, that they voted against Nina. What's that?
Republicans voted against Nina.
That's what they're going to try to sell you, rather than voting against the establishment.
Yeah.
Where usually 9 times out of 10 they vote against who? The establishment. If a Republican go in there and can screw up a Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama candidate, they'll go in and do that. They're not going to go vote against Nina to put that candidate in office. It makes no sense.
As much as they hate,
this is why we need audits.
They consider all of them, lefty commies, some of them, not all Republicans, right? There's very little difference they see. But they know that the establishment candidates are the Obama type and the Hillary type of candidates. And if you talk to anybody that's a Republican, their hatred for the establishment Democrats supersedes anything that they had for Bernie Sanders, believe it or not. Because Bernie Sanders to them got screwed. Like they didn't care at the time, and they've said as much recently. We should have cared, but they didn't. Like they said, Bernie Sanders at least was like sticking it to the Democrats. There's that sentiment too with people like Tulsi Gabbard and other like there's a reason
which is why Bernie was successful, because he was sticking it to the Democrats.
And you talked about West Virginia. Bernie Sanders won West Virginia in the primary, and that whole thing went to Donald Trump in the general. There's a fucking reason for that.
Yeah.
Because these people hate establishment Democrats more than they hate any of the progressives, and they also don't think that the progressives will win either. So they're not even on their radar. So to say that open primaries caused Nina's loss is beyond ignorant. It is so stupid. And anybody pushing that bullshit, like Ryan Grimm, is completely
Because they want to go back to closed primaries. That's why.
Yeah,
they want to go
that's
back
how
to
the
closed
Democrats
primaries. And they were bragging that it was a closed primary in Ohio when Hillary was going against Bernie Sanders in 2016.
Yep.
So they want to get back to that because the establishment has more control in a Democratic primary that's closed. If it was open, progressives have more of a shot.
You know what's hilarious is that fucking Ryan Grimm, a fantastic journalist, by the way, he links to dansdeals.com as from this the person that did this analysis that it was Republicans.
Yep.
This guy actually was saying that it was the Jewish population that of Cleveland over there. It was like East Cleveland, Cleveland over there.
Less than 1,000 votes is what they're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. It's
ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Chantel Brown, nobody even knew her. I didn't even know her.
And in this article, this quote article that Ryan Grimm linked, it's heavily biased and skews some statistics. And the site is called Dan's Deals. I mean, the statistics that skewed was like the 100,000 Jews there. I looked into that. He references Wikipedia here. And then the anti-Israel rhetoric, all Nina said that was anti-Israel, was it's heavily biased, this fucking article, and Ryan Grimm, the fantastic fucking no award winning journalist, is linking. So here's Nina Turner said solidarity is a verb, and that's all she said about it. Solidarity and here this tweet says American Jews are joining with Palestinians to save Sheikh Jarrah and end apartheid. And then
oh wow, that's
making the claim the city of Beechwood, which is located in the 11th congressional district, has one of the greatest numbers of Jews per capita in the world. Again, a reference to Wikipedia, and then it's like it's completely false. Like it's not. Like Israel's not even listed here, so I don't know why he would make that claim. You know what I'm saying? Like this article was making a bunch of claims, like trying to blow it up and stuff. So
they really want you concentrating on this, Johnny, instead of concentrating on elections.
Exactly. No, because it's so stupid. Just to discredit Ryan Grimm because he's a fucking piece of shit. So what else do I have here?
And again, and Nina Turner again was didn't really say anything that like Johnny pointed out anti-Israel, and she was also endorsed by Bakari Sellers, who is one of Apex's darlings. He is like super pro-Israel, anti-Bernie Sanders. Of course, that pissed off a lot of her supporters, but the point I'm trying to make is that she was placating to that whole establishment. She was never like, ooh, yeah, go Palestine and go blah, blah, blah. She didn't even mention Hamas in a positive light. None of this stuff has she ever said. And in fact, Bernie Sanders himself has been very, very tepid on the issue. You know what I mean? He hasn't been great on the Palestinian issue. So again, like trying to say that it was just Israel and Israeli money, to me, misses the whole point of, okay, even if it was, we should look into the election because we really don't know. Like, and there's nothing supporting the fact that Republicans that are pro-Israel, because there are Republicans that are anti-Israel. That's where some of the tropes come of, oh, you're a right-winger, you're being anti-Semitic, would do this. What benefit would they have? They have their own guy to support. Yeah,
and I don't think they need open primaries as much as they need open source, right, John?
Right. So yeah, that was that part, low voter turnout, and the fact that it is a open primary, right? So that part, we know who to blame there, right? And then last Wednesday, the day after the election, Pasta did a great job in finding out that the larger county, Cuyahoga County, is using a 2-in-1 scanner tabulation machine. You went to their website, cuyahogacounty.gov. BOE.cuyahogacounty.gov. You found out the voting equipment. I'm just showing this again because this needs to be shown as many times as possible. Here's the who else is looking at this?
Nobody.
Who else is looking at this on the left?
Nobody.
Is Nina Turner's team even looking at this shit?
Nope.
Nobody. So they're using ES&S, and then we found the machine. It's DS200 optical scanners. So you can see right here, it's one of these as well. A high-speed central scanner, vote tabulator, fastest central scanner in election industry, capable of processing 300 ballots per minute. Security features, proprietary flash
Proprietary. It's in the thing. Can we access those auto
Johnny,
logs,
can you define proprietary for people who don't know what that means?
Let's pull it up, a fucking definition proprietary.
Yeah, let's define proprietary, because when we say these terms, sometimes they're very, wonky, and people don't know what the fuck that means.
Of relating to a proprietor or to ownership, privately owned as a business, owned by a private individual or corporation under a trademark or patent.
Wait, so you're telling me our publicly funded elections are privately owned, John?
Yes.
Okay, let's trust the system, everybody.
Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. It's like it's the left's QAnon. Trust the plan. Trust the proprietary software.
It's okay. They're just being honest. They've been honest with us this whole time, right?
So immediately, this election is in question in the Convo Couch's eyes. And here's what I'm going to say from here on out. If any election uses a tabulation machine with proprietary software, that election is immediately questionable.
Immediately.
There's no way around this. There should not be proprietary software in our election. There should not be private fucking companies involved in publicly funded elections. People need to get this through their fucking head. Jordan Cuckington, get this through your fucking head. And with that, you see why here at the Convo Couch, we would never blame the working class people We will blame politicians and officials who keep these election systems in place,
yes,
knowingly or ignorantly allowing private companies taint our elections. We have no democracy. As long as there are private companies running our elections, we do not have a fucking democracy. And this is where Tim's anger should be. But, okay, let's say it's not there. So maybe we should listen to 2017 Tim when Jimmy had him on. Let's listen to this.
National scale, unless...
Let me see.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. You see my special guest. It's Tim Black from the Tim Black Show right on YouTube. Hey, Tim, do you have any prediction on what will happen with the Democratic Party in 2018?
Dude, 2018, man, I see, unless they embrace the loud left, right, which is the most vocal arm of their party, the most vocal segment of their party, the most active how can you disenfranchise the most active people in your party? That's crazy. So unless they shift, and I don't see them shifting, Jimmy, because they're still stuck on Trump. They're stuck on Trump like white on rice. These guys aren't going anywhere, man. It went from Russia, now we're on to this issue, and somehow it's still Trump's fault. Any way you shape it. If they don't realize that it's about the issues that matter to Americans, I go out in D.C., Jimmy, I've been doing some new segments. I'm out in the streets talking to people. Ain't nobody bringing up Russia. No one's bringing up Putin. No one's even really bringing up North Korea. They're bringing up jobs. They're bringing up college. They're bringing up foreclosures. That's what they're bringing up. And unless the Democratic Party can get back to that, can wake up, stop listening to consultants, stop listening to these consultants, Jimmy. Dude, I see a loss in 2018, more seats lost, and I see a loss in 2020 unless they run a progressive like similar to a Tulsi Gabbard, a Senator Nina Turner, or Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and unless on a national scale, unless they run someone who actually has actual.
So
why are you bringing up Russia?
That was it. So, yeah, don't stop listening to these consultants.
Yeah.
2017, Tim, you are absolutely right. Progressives need to stop listening to these fucking consultants.
And she hired him.
You see, if Tim actually watched the Convo Couch, you would know that the people to blame for Nina's loss are none other than Jeff Weaver and his corrupt consultants. Here's a softball interview that a channel did with Jeff Weaver a few days before Nina's election, and this is for historical purposes. I'm not going to play it, so that y'all know Jeff Weaver was in fact part of Nina's campaign. You know, I'll play the part where he begs for money in the end here.
Not only Jeff Weaver, but Nina also hired
Chuck Rocha.
Jeff Weaver and the people here, the people from LA, Luis and all those, Louis Meyer and all those people that sunk Bernie's campaign in LA. The moment I found that out, I was outraged. I made a tweet about it, I think. A lot of people were like, what the hell, Nina, what are you doing? Again, that's on her. That is on her.
Why are they even hiring the people who lost, who continuously lose?
I think Jeff Weaver is literally there to literally thwart campaigns, progressive campaigns. That's personally my belief. Every campaign he touches sinks. Every progressive campaign he touches. And that's the thing. That's to me is like, okay, why, like they say, this is what I get when I ask that question. Why are you hiring people from, who've worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign, who have like tanked it and blah, blah, blah. Like they're consultants. They're part of the DC Beltway. Oh, it's a very small Beltway. So, we got to do what we got to do. Like what? No, fuck it. Why are you trying to run a grassroots campaign like an establishment campaign? Do you not see that goes nowhere? Like I've said this before. I'm sick and tired of saying it. I'm done with electoral politics, but I'm just telling you, like, if you actually wanted to succeed, doing this is not the way.
Here he begs for money.
There are people, all over the United States listening to this. What do you want people to do?
Well, look, if you are nearby, you can come to Cleveland and get involved in door-to-door canvassing. If you live further away, you can go to Nina Turner for us, or ninaturner.com, and to sign up to text or call remotely. The campaign still has a lot of expenses. We got a big rally here with Bernie today. That's expensive. So if people could send the $27, that would really be helpful as well. So there's a lot folks can do even if they're not here.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
So I just kind of wanted to put it down for historical purposes in this segment here that Jeff Weaver was definitely a part of Nina Turner's campaign. There he is, and he's asking for money, and that's that. And we know these consultants, how they act. We did a segment on these corrupt consultants that were in Bernie's campaign over 8 months ago. and that they were buying for Nina.
Yep.
You know, it's hilarious. If I type this whole title in, fam, into YouTube, you can't find it. It's kind of crazy. I had to go to DuckDuckGo video and then type that title, and then that's how you find it.
Yep.
Corrupt consultants from Bernie campaign want jobs with Nina Turner.
Yep.
And we covered this back in December 13th of 2020. Here we are 8 months later, over 8 months later. So, yes, 2017 Tim, tell 2021 Tim that he's blaming the wrong people. It's a Dem establishment. It's always been the establishment. We just stop playing games with them. Stop listening to them. That's why we are anti-democratic party. We are pro-direct action and mutual aid, like Jimmy Dore, like Brianna Gray, like Savage Joy, like Fred Hampton Levis, like Slow Newsday, like Misty Facts on the Ground, like Niko House, and on and on. Lastly, we covered it before, but we have the right to criticize anyone we want. So does Jimmy, and so does Jimmy and everyone else, and everyone of us true leftists who are seeing electoral politics are not the way, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's been criticizing her strategy of being more centrist, and that's coming from the consultants telling her, you need to appease the Democratic establishment. We criticized her Russiagating during Bernie's campaign. We showed that video. I didn't pull it up this time. It was disgusting, dude. We criticized her not acknowledging a national Medicare for All march.
Yep.
We criticized the fuck out of her for hosting a door knock on the same day. Why did she do that? Why did the entire squad not say anything or promote it on the fucking thing they ran on? You bet your ass we're going to criticize that.
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we? You bet your ass we're going to criticize the placating to the neoliberal establishment, which probably came again from those shitty, corrupt fucking consultants who probably ruined her campaign from within. I'm interested to see if there's people on the ground there who have experienced the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, money was not an issue.
It was not an issue, and you should point that out, Johnny, because she raised twice as much as Chantel Brown. And I keep hating people go, well, they go, oh, it's the dark money. Yeah, dark money sucks and comes in, but when you raise twice as much money, that should combat that money.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Money spent, money earned is money spent. So bullshit that it was dark money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not alone.
So really quick, I want to discuss, I think if Nina unleashed and was the usual fiery Nina that we knew from pre-2017, then I think she would have gotten more independents inspired to come out and vote for her. I feel like that would have happened.
Especially
in a fair election.
Primary.
In an open primary, assuming a fair election, right?
An open primary is the time to do that.
Yep.
It's the time to go nuclear.
Yeah.
It's the time to talk about the national security state, get some Republicans, to question the CDC. It's the time to do that. And honestly, in an open primary, especially since the political atmosphere is no longer what it was. People are still operating, and this is my problem with progressives. They're still operating like this is like 2015. And it's 2021. We have gone through Bernie Sanders losing twice, being, cheated twice. We have gone through Trump and Biden and Trump and Hillary and all of these things that have happened and the corruption and the exposure and all of that. Do you really fucking think that the political climate is the same? That you have to, if you have no other choice but to placate to the centrists, that you have no other choice but to tread lightly? No, now is the time for nuclear. That's why people like Jimmy Dore and others are popular, because they're fucking nuclear. Because now is the time, and that's why when I did a speech on for Medicare for All. I was told I was attacking the squad. I was too nuclear. We don't need nuclear. No, we do need fucking nuclear. We need that right now, because that's all there is. Because right now we're in a fucking shitty situation. Things are going to get really, really bad, and they're already starting to get really, really bad. Again, by the way, Chicago, another state that's adopted this passport situation, and it's going to get worse and worse. And here we are discussing Tim Black's rant, because it really leads to something important, right?
Yes.
Are you here to fight the establishment and to fight these corrupt politicians and to fight the state agencies that are going to crush all of us? If you are, get on board. If you're not, get out of the way. He's telling people to get out of the way. No, you get out of the way too. He wants to draw a line in the sand. The line in the sand is drawn. It's the people that are out there to actually take over the system, to literally to stop the corruption, to really do a cleansing away from the Democratic Party, from the Republican Party, and have a people's sort of revolution, like an actual general strike movement. Or it's the people that are still trying to patch up the crumbling empire with their little band-aids that are not gonna hold. They're not gonna hold. It's gonna fucking fall apart. And those people, the Squad and the Tim Blacks and the Sam Cedars and the TYTs of the world, they are working in tandem with the establishment. And that is sad, because it would be better for us all if they would come join us and fight the establishment.
Can you imagine an open primary where somebody came out and fought against the three-letter agencies and big tech? Right there, how many people in an open primary are like, all right, she's taking on big tech. She doesn't like the censorship. I'm going to go out and vote for her on that one issue.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What about the CDC? I mean, you don't have to go completely bashing everything, but there are a lot of things questionable.
Point out
the lying of the ivermectin and all that stuff.
They're flip-flopping.
The way they keep moving the goalposts and saying they're big farm. We've been fighting for years now. We gotta hold them accountable. Can you imagine if she had a solid foreign policy where she wasn't gloating about Russiagators out there, whatnot, and she said, you know what, my number one job is to get rid of nuclear weapons on this world. So even though I don't like Putin, I will talk to Putin and we will work. I mean, can you imagine in an open populist mentality if you did that in Cleveland, Ohio, in an open primary? You would have got so many more votes, but instead you capitulated to the left, to the Democratic Party,
to establishment,
to the establishment. Excuse me, you're right, and this is what you got. You know, and we don't know what. Once again, we still think that the main problem is our elections.
Yeah,
that's what we like to look at first. But how bad were these things that she did, where she capitulated to the establishment? How bad did they hurt her? Right. That is the question.
That is the question. And again, we won't know because we can't look into this. Call for an audit, Nina.
Right.
Call for something.
She already conceded. Too late.
No, the turnout was so low. And honestly, we can't even look at these numbers and trust them because of this proprietary software.
It would have been less than $1 million to audit that fucking that election.
Does anyone know if they're doing a 1% manual tally? No. No one fucking knows.
Nobody
because
knows.
We're the only ones on the left who are even looking, who are even checking elections like this. Yeah. And now it's been like demonized by the media and fake leftists to be dumb and Trumpian when they have no fucking, they don't have the slightest ideas of how the election
getting your ass kicked by the establishment, progressives.
No idea.
Keep not talking about elections. Keep getting your ass fucking kicked, and then they'll come crying when you get your ass kicked again and again and again because you're not tackling the issue that would stop it. And again, I'm at the point where I don't even want to vote anymore, and I think that's where a lot of us are. We're just we don't have a fair fucking system. There's no electoral path to this. So what we're going to have to do is demand fair elections, demand what we want. Medicare for all, demand of freedom of the press, demand freedom of Julian Assange, demand, an end to medical tyranny, whatever the fuck it is you want to demand. That's going to have to come from us. You can't any longer vote your way out of this. You can't vote your way into your favorite. If you're a communist, you can't vote your way into communism from this. You're not going to vote your way into anti-imperialism, into ending wars. Where's your mind at? You're not going to vote your way out of this. And this is yet proof again that it doesn't work.
And the hypocritical left, people like Elizabeth Warren, who's now doing commercials saying, support Gavin Newsom in California. She should shut the fuck up. Her, Amy Klobuchar, Ron Wyden, they were going to Congress complaining about the systems that were in place when it came to proprietary software and these machines and these companies. But once they got the results they liked, they shut the hell up and they went back to their little team group in their huddle, and now they're allowing it to happen again. You guys got to object to these things. Like Johnny just pointed out, you guys have no idea who's counting the votes, how it's counting, when they're counting, where they came from, all these things. There's no chain of custody. These elections are ripe for fraud, and it's easy for the establishment to cheat these elections, and you're not calling them out when, in fact, they've admitted they have the right to cheat. It's disgusting, guys. Take your head out of your ass. Thank you.
So, just to finish off, here's some tweets I saw in the situation that I felt were appropriate. We got the Orange Duke here. It seems strange that I'm personally responsible for Nina Turner's loss when I don't even live in Ohio, much less her district. I don't think the shitlibs understand how American democracy works. Black in the Empire.
Yeah.
I see we're back to blaming everybody for the loss of a politician, but the politician. And some even going far enough to chastise people for not giving them their money. It's crazy. Black in the Empire. Spitting Venoms. So did Tim Black really blame a black woman as the reason a black woman lost to another black woman in Ohio and call it racism?
Yes, he did.
I just listened to the whole rant. Tim Black is, I don't know who that is, Democrat. He said he looks into Bree's eyes and see a scared little white girl. This guy voted for Joe Biden and says the MPP is the white supremacist party. He's higher than the cost of living.
He did vote for Joe Biden?
I feel like he did. I think he did.
Wow.
I don't know. We stopped watching him after the Tulsa thing. Okay, so that's that, and there goes that section. Tim, you're blaming the wrong people. Jimmy's not a racist. MPP's not a racist organization. Don't downplay women like Steph and Brianna and Savage Joy. Apologize. Acknowledge what we said here about the elections and consultants, and start talking about that instead of ranting mindlessly. And that's that section.